Okay, so I'm just comparing the both versions. So it might give some. So let me update the project. So update the project, force update. Sometimes, if you get errors, do a force update. Update the Maven project. So that also solves issues. There is solved. So it is the change. So 5.1. This is not a big deal, right? 5.10.1 only. It doesn't matter. So which is stopping? Hmm, I have an update. Okay, update is done. Let me change it to Java path, Java. So to 17. So maybe Java 17 is giving a trouble. We need to see that. Cucumber. Okay, I think they're saying deprecated. Add suppress warning. It's deprecated. So is fine, right? Let me take the same versions then. I'll take the same versions. What makes difference? Yeah, now we got. This is strange. I think some issue with the so cucumber. Yeah. Thing a version issue. So there is a version issues. We have to be very careful. So what versions are? Maybe I'll post these versions, all these versions. So we have to be very careful on these versions. 5.3.2. I think the issue with here Cucumber 7.14.1. So let's go to the Cucumber website. You can go to docs. Yeah. I think there is a version issues. We need to see what is okay. Let's move on. We don't want to waste time there. So we can run now. We can run your test case. That's simple. We can run our test case. JUnit 4. We imported JUnit 4. It should be JUnit 5, right? Let me update that. Config. Yeah, that's the issue, I think. So let's remove this. Why do we are using JUnit? JUnit 5 we need to use. So we're using a Jupyter JUnit API, and Jupyter related it should come here. Runner, JUnit runner. Okay, so let's run this. So we'll see. Okay, Maven clean. First Maven clean you do. So build is success. Okay, then Maven. Sorry, Maven install. Here it is runner, test runner is started. Failed, build failure. So there are some issues here. So you can see here very clearly it will show why it has failed also it will show. Failure 0, errors 8, skips 4. What is the reason? They will tell here very clearly. So undefined step exception. So some step we didn't define. That's why it is undefined step exception. Generally you will get if any step is mismatch, right? Any step mismatches. Maybe here some steps are mismatching. So we have to see what is that step. So you have to go step by step. Which one is mismatching? First, I verify the first user record having email. This one. So this is undefined. So you need to see the these steps. So that step is not there here. You have to see exactly each one. I need to compare one by one now. Let's compare one by one. Single user onward. So we made some issue. Where is single user? Yeah, from here. So go to single user, copy paste here. So that is causing the problem. If any mismatch is there, it won't work out. So send the request to the server to fetch the single user. Then I validate single user response status code. So I verify the response body fields. So that is done. Next, provide valid endpoint to fetch a single user not found. Single user provide valid endpoint to fetch. See, this is the difference. So we have written only to fetch is not there. Fetch is not there. So the mismatch between this step and what we have written here, mismatch was there. So that's the reason it is so not able to run. Send the request to fetch single user not found. Send the request to the server to fetch single user not found. So there is a lot of differences. So that's why it is not able to run the test cases. If any change between the feature and step definition code, and it won't run. So you will get a errors. So now it will run. We see run as so do that. I'll do first Maven clean. First do the Maven clean. Then Maven install. See. Now it is going fine. Still one more is pending somewhere. See, there is still something pending. Even you can copy this. I verify the first user record having email as a string. Okay, I think I will. This one is giving some problem. So where is that? Just observe that. Maybe whatever regular expression we kept, that is not working. So let's replace with this. So I verify the first user record. Verify the first user record. Where is this? I verify the first user record. Not found. Okay, till here. Okay, so this one having trouble. Okay, so I missed here one more concept, a simple star I missed here because it has to find out all the characters, right? So that's why this is star is missing. So that is the reason. Now, so these are some of the mistakes. If you do, it won't run. Let's correct that and run it. Yeah, you have to make a mistakes to get perfection. Otherwise, it's a difficult. And suddenly, if you get a problem and you cannot solve it, well, practice time, if you get more problems, that's good. We can solve it. Still one more. I validate the single user not found. Okay. So there is a typos, I think. I valid single user. Okay, this one is fail. Okay, now this one is failing. I validate single user not found response status code. Same, right? I validate single user not found. Response status code correct only. Oh, is any dot we have? Oh, this say dot is missing. Even dot also you have to keep, otherwise remove here. And here, so there is no dot, right? That's why it is. We'll correct it, not found. So there is a typos, same I will do here also. Not found. Save it. Save it. Yeah. So these are some of the mistakes, all small typos. Right click. So very particular. It will check each and every character, even spaces also it will check. So that's why we have to be very careful. Okay, now it went fine. Right? I hope you are clear now. Any questions? Okay, so good. Now let's get start with the next feature file, that is post. So the next one, get is done. Any questions on the get? Any questions on the get? You have to talk, and if you are silent, how? So what should I understand? Whether you have doubt or we are good. So what is that? At least you need to respond, right? You don't have any doubt, or you have doubts. So what is that? No doubts?
Ramesh, so for each and every get put whatever it is like for a method, okay, for in order to execute a particular piece of module. So first thing is we are working on the feature file, and similarly the second one important thing is step definition file,
Right.
and the third one is the runner.java, right, for each and every module. This is the
Right, you're right.
framework,
Yes.
right?
Yes, you're right.
Okay, only these three have the dependencies.
Yeah. So, but in the UI case, you will have a page objects, right? How we did page elements. But the REST APIs, these are the things mostly. And somebody will write a reusable methods and also data preparation like a JSON or a CSV file. You will read data from the different sources, right? Those things you will prepare extra. Other than that, nothing. Okay.
So UI
API testing wise, it's easy.
Okay. But UI testing, it will be a little bit.
Little bit, right? You have to call the methods, reusable methods will be there. And how hybrid framework we have written. Same way you will write here also. Web elements you have to identify in the page objects, one folder, one package you will create. Under that you will have all the page classes. Then you have to call those pages in the step definitions.
Step definition. Okay.
Right. Right. Okay. Post API feature dot feature. So I'm going to write. So here just feature name I'll change. Regress.
Is that the feature file name should be in dot feature? Is that
Yeah,
what
always a dot feature. That extension is a dot feature. So request post API to create users. Okay. Create user feature like that. So tags I will tell you later. Okay, tags I will tell you. So when all the test cases design are done, so then we'll do this one. And I'm going to use a scenario outline also. First, let's finish this first scenario. Single, so right, single user creation, right? I will create a single user, create a single user. So scenario name I'll put request post API to create user. To create user. So to create user scenario, if you want to just put. So now given, so given provide valid endpoint. Provide valid endpoint. Maybe endpoint is same. Provide valid endpoint to create user. So I don't have any conditions, extra joining conditions with the given. So I'll remove this. Now when, so when, what you need to do? I send the request to the server with the request body, right? You need to give a request body. I send the request. I send the request to the server with request body. I don't have any joining conditions with when also. So let's remove that also. So then I validate the create user response status code. I validate the create user. So create user response status code. So if you want to give this response status code in the, so maybe here 200 and so validate the create user response body fields. Create user response body fields. That's it. Same thing I want to do with the scenario outline. Scenario outline is I want to give different so data, different sets of data I want to create. So how can you create a different sets of data? So that is what we are going to just do this. So let's create. So request host API to create more users. So I'm creating more users. So I'm going to do parameters now. Scenario outline means you have to give parameters. So whatever the parameter that will come as a column name here. So that's a simple. So again given. So provide valid endpoint to create user. Same I'm going to use. Here nothing is there. Same thing. I think you can put a background here. So one background you can put instead of repeating this. This is the same. I can put a background here. Background, and this step you can move there. That's it. So automatically it will repeat for every scenario. You don't need to write again. See, one time only you're writing that, repeat for all the scenarios. That's the background advantage. If some step is common for both the scenarios, beginning you want to run, you can put those statements in under background. That's what we are doing. Okay. Now, so when I send the request, when I send the request to the server, right? We are sending to the server with request body as a parameter, right? So to the server with request body, you have to tell with request body. So you have to put as that as a parameter. Are you, if you want, so request body fields only two, right? You can mention them also as name and job, right? And job, because these are strings, so mention in the string. Numbers means you don't need to mention in the string. So another one, job. So then I validate create user response status code. That's it. So even if you want, you can give this as a data table. Otherwise, you can, if you want, you can add that. So in the maybe data table, or you can give as a parameter also. It's up to you. So whichever you want, you can do. Let me put a one data table. I'll put this in the data table. Type symbol you have to put, okay? Type symbol. And see, and one more joining condition I'm putting for the then another joining condition, that is I will validate the response body fields. So I verify the response body fields. Response body fields. So what are all these things are there? So you just give them. So all the fields example section. What is the first one? Name. Second one, job. That's it, these two only, right? So these two only, you have to give these two as a columns. As a columns, you have to give these two. Remaining you remove because we don't have this. And you give the values. So I'm giving, so whatever the data we have here, create a user, right? So I'm going to give this guy name. And yeah, we can just, so on this one, you can mention job name. So whatever the job here is there, you can give that job name. Okay, so that's it. And here, any name you can give. I'll give my name. So I can give automation. Let's so I'll give this. So like this data, you can enter how many users you want to create. So this is how you can create the data. So now let's go and develop this quickly. Post API StepDef. So maybe we can copy this. Almost we can save time, right? Let's do that. So post API, just change it to post API StepDev. So go here and change, but make sure all the steps you did properly. You're going to do properly. But we have one more here. The request body you have to give. So first replace all the steps, okay? All the steps. So given, what is the given? So this is the given. Provide valid endpoint, create the user. Just go there. That's it. And to create user. To create user. And so then base URL and service API URL you are giving as it is. That's this endpoint also here. You can see that. So base URL and service API URL, whatever we mentioned in the property file. So these two are setting. Next. And when, so what is when? I send the request to the server with request body. So I send the request to the request body. So you have to give send the request to the server with request body. Okay, now we need to give a request body, right? So how we can give this? Okay, I'll come back to this. Let's finish this all the steps first. I validate the status code. So this is the data table. You have to put data table object here. So data table. So DT. Just a data table concept, a class name, and that a reference variable. So next, validate the create user fields. And I'm going to use this one. Let me use this one. Let's put this on the top here. So there is no parameter for this, okay? So I'll just put underscore, then underscore, underscore. Every word in between we're putting underscores. So this is what we are doing now. Now, the next step is you have to create a JSON object. So there is a class JSON object. JSON OBJ. So import this. Then you create object for this wherever. So globally, if you want to create, you can create object. Okay, not a problem. New JSON object. So you will just call this JSON object to set the data here. So you have to call here. So I'm just setting the JSON data. So JSON object dot put method is there. The put method will accept two values. One is string name. So name value. So what is the name value? Anything we can give. And basically you are setting the data. Job. The fields of request body I'm giving here. Fields of request body. That's it. Now you need to give here the body. There is a body method. That body method you have to see the body method what it will give is. So the method body in the type request specification is not applicable for the arguments 0, but we have to give. So JSON object dot. So no BZ dot as a string, I think. To string. To string method you have to call. That's it. So now given headers and body, say request, but this is the request body. Then you have to put a post method. Post method. So once post method is done, and the response will store here. So response will store, and you have to read the data table concept. So let's read the data table concept. So only one data, right? So list of string, expected status code equal to expected status code list equal to dt dot as list. That's it. Now you want to get, so this you are getting anyhow both. So this one and this one, and you compare it. So you need to compare here. Integer dot parseInt. This is the string, right? So you have to write integer dot parseInt. So that this list dot get of 0. So get of 0. So you have to give dot only get of 0. Only one, right? One list only.